They are professionals. They are practitioners. They are seeing things every day. And if they don't share their experiences soon after they retire, so that things could be improved. What is the use of them writing after 20 years and nobody is going to write? That means 20 years means you have finished, complete. No former civil servant or army officer or military officer will ever write a book. But the question is, the rule is already there. A violation has taken place. But that does not mean you must completely shut down
No,
the
but
wealth
Mr.
of experience.
In your career for past so many decades, have you ever come across a government which has put this sort of a 20-year cooling off period, for the officers that they can't write a book, they can't write a memoir?
Only riffraffs, lumpens are ruling the roost. And you join the political party, can say anything. People in the cabinet who made these observations have no experience of no interest in what governance is. They are only interested in their own, and because nobody has praised, and they only want praise.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Now, Center is mulling over bringing in detailed guidelines, which includes a 20-year cooling off period for serving and retired armed forces personnel seeking to write and publish books amid the controversy over General Naravane's unpublished memoir, 4 Stars of Destiny. Now, according to the reports which have come out, this issue was discussed at a recent Union Cabinet meeting where several ministers favored a mandatory cooling off period for those who have held positions of power. And this includes senior military officers before authoring books on sensitive subjects. Now, is this cooling off period of 20 years, is it rational? How logical is it? Is it a violation of the fundamental rights of the veterans? Joining me this evening is retired IAS officer, author, columnist, and someone who's also been part of the army. Mr. Devasahayam joins us. Mr. M.G. Devasahayam, I welcome you on HW News Network. And my first question to you is that the order has not come out yet. But how would you look at this 20-year cooling off period for the retired officials?
See, ab initio, I look at it as a distracting technique. See, ever since General Naravane's book had come out, that particular issue had been flagged. A very serious security lapse had taken place at the Indo-China border. I don't want to go into detail. And General Naravane, who had the knowledge of that, had written it. Whether it come out surreptitiously, secretly, that is immaterial. The information has come out. What has the government done? My first question, as a former army officer and also a former civil servant and also citizen of the country, what has the government done to clear that particular issue? The issue brought out by General Naravane is very, very serious. Obviously, he implies that he had a private order, he had private direction that the army shall not open fire against Chinese troops, even when they attack, imply therewith. That is why a former chief desperately tries to contact the Cabinet Committee on Security. He contacts the Defense Minister, he contacts the National Security Advisor, he contacts the External Affairs Minister, he contacts the CDS. He doesn't talk to the Prime Minister because that was not the direct line of control, and says, I had received this kind of instruction earlier. My Chinese tanks are advancing towards our positions. What do I do? Now, instead of addressing this issue, the most serious, critical security violation bordering on treason, I would say. They are talking about whether the book has been released, whether a copy of the book has been there. This has been, yes, I have also got a copy of the book in one of my emails. I don't know how they got it. That is immaterial. The question is, what is the issue that is being addressed? Now they are saying 20 years cooling period. What is this 20 years cooling period? Exactly the age you are talking about, that's my age now. I am 85. At this age, I don't think I will be able to write any book. I will not remember anything.
Absolutely.
The question is, they are completely shutting down the best and the brilliant in the country. See, who are these senior military officers? Who are the civil servants? I won't call them bureaucrats, I will call them civil servants. They are among the best of the lot, who have come into their profession through a very stringent means of competition and groomed over a period of time through training, exercise, practice, everything. So they have a wealth of knowledge, not theory knowledge. They are not theoreticians. They are professionals. They are practitioners. They are seeing things every day. And if they don't share their experiences, soon after they retire, so that things could be improved. What is the use of them writing after 20 years and nobody is going to write? That means 20 years means you are finished, complete. No former civil servant or army officer or military officer will ever write a book. Don't even think of writing a book. Publication industry will also.
Saying that in a way, this 20-year cooling off period effectively means that no serving officer or the armed forces personnel can write a book or a memoir.
Served officers question does not arise. Serving officers cannot write a word without approval of the concerned department they are serving, whether military or civil. Serving is totally different. They are governed by the Official Secrets Act. They are governed by the Civil Service Rules. They are governed by the Army Act. They are governed by the military kind of rules. That does not arise. The question of writing book or article only concerns veterans who have retired, former civil servants or former army officers at every rank. So see, they had brought in some restrictions some time ago. Soon after Dulat wrote that book in 2021, they said anyone who has worked in intelligence security related agencies like RA, IB, armed forces, military, they will not reveal any sensitive information. They must go for advance clearance of the material and the manuscript before publishing the book. This amendment had come as far as civil service is concerned in 2021. Army rules are even much more stringent. I'm sure General Navarane knows about the whole thing, and he is not a fool. He would have got the approval. I don't know what happened. No, I don't know the details at all. Even now, he is not very clear as to what he is talking about. Even now, the publishers are also they are just I don't know how this copy came out. Entire book came out. People have read the book. So nobody knows about it. But the question is, a rule is already there. A violation has taken place. But that does not mean you must completely shut down
No, but Mr. Devasahayam, in your career for past so many decades, have you ever come across a government which has put this sort of a 20-year cooling off period, for the officers that they can't write a book, they can't write a memoir?
No, see, my own personal experience, though I have not served in this kind of intelligence and this kind of security, I had served in a very sensitive position as District Magistrate of Chandigarh during the emergency. Sensitive because Jayaprakash Narayan was my prisoner. And there were certain dealings that took place between the government and Jayaprakash Narayan, which I am privy to. or I am perhaps not the only person who was privy to. So I was planning to write something on emergency that I did not write. I waited. I waited for 30 years. 30 years was the period under the Official Secrets Act and other areas where restricted information can be. So I wanted to, instead of, I had a lot of material, my own material. I wanted to write, but I wanted to have the official version also before writing. The official version will not be available till 30 years. They will not release any sensitive information. That is the rule. So I waited till 2005. Only after 2005 I wrote my book on the emergency, but I hardly got any information from the archives. I went to the archives with a lot of difficulty under the RTA. By the time RTA Act had come into play, I applied under the RTA, and they were initially reluctant to give any information. Finally, I broke through, and I spent 3 days in the National Archives in Delhi. But there was hardly anything. The record keeping was very patchy, very casual. There was hardly any information I got. In fact, I wrote the book most 90% based on my own information, material I had. So, this cooling off period, hotting off period is all right. But India does not have a proper security system, archive system. It doesn't have the sort of classified or secret. Now, for instance, let's come to General Navaraane. Navaraane revealed that particular information of August 30th, 2020, 21, whatever. So now, how do you say it is a secret information? How do you say it is operational information? Where it is written it is operational information, where it is written the secret information, where it is classified, this is secret. So the question is, it's a very dicey kind of proposition, meaning thereby you are completely choking off, completely sort of closing down the best and the brilliant in society.
So you're saying that this is professional degradation also. This is a professional degradation.
Professional, not only degradation, lack of trust, lack of faith, and denying the people a basic right as to how their government is running. See, at the end of the day, governance is for whom? All this halagulla and all is for the people of India. They are voting for it. Though they are voting it, they are paying for it. They are supposed to know how their affairs are being run. So we are only talking about the security aspect. General Navarane's book talks about only about the Chinese attack. We are talking about various other issues also. There are so many other issues that concerns national security, national development. So there's so much of corruption. Now with this kind of gagging order, they can come as it is. They're killing the Right to Information Act. See, let me say a few words on that. When this discussion and debate that was going on as to the need for the Right to Information Act, the Official Secrets Act came into a full display. Now, what is this Official Secrets Act? Official Secrets was enacted by the British rule, British Raj, who wanted to keep everything secret. They were not running a democratic governance. There's a basic difference between British Raj and the Indian democratic governance. So when they were doing anything, getting all orders coming from UK and higher ups, so they didn't want the people to have any voice. People do not even know, you denied. In a democracy, Official Secret Act is an anithema. See, what they should do is, they must have a very clear-cut system by which they categorize issues and as secret, confidential, and then keep it aside so that nobody is able to reveal that within that particular period of time. That is there. But now you can't have a universal kind of omnibus direction saying that nobody shall write anything. Now, recently, I'll tell you, there is a controversy in Tamil Nadu. I am from Tamil Nadu. This Tamil movie called Parasakti. Lot of fellow YouTubers came on the scene, started blabbering that military in Pollachi in 1965 went and killed and massacred hundreds of people and burned them all in bulk. All kind of nonsense being talked about because there was a reference to that in the movie. I have been watching it for the couple of days, and they said, Ranavam, military did. I was part of the damn military. It was the Madras Regiment, 17th Battalion. I knew what exactly happened. I mean, 99% false, exaggeration. So when you are concealing facts, then I had to give a clarification. Hindu carried out that clarification. After that, it died down. The yapping was not. Otherwise, they will portraying Indian Army as a complete monster, as if their only job is to massacring people with lead machine guns.
This particular order, if it comes into place, and I'm sure the Ministry of Defense, that's what I'm reading everywhere, that, and this is what the senior defense officials have also told some of the media personnel, that they are preparing a comprehensive framework that would clearly define procedures of both serving and retired personnel before publishing any books. And at present, everyone knows that there is no single consolidated law which governs book writing by retired army officers. So do you think that this is something grave, deeper, which we cannot think at this point of time? Or is this an indication to all the retirees that, look, you have to join BJP after you retire? Because we should not forget that 2029, we have elections. There'll be a lot of officers, of the top ranking officials, they will be retiring. So is there a message for such kind of officers as well?
It's a deeper, or as it is, they have spread a lot of fear among the people at large, civil servants at large, military officials at large. They are not raising their voice at all. Particularly the military officials are completely timid and weak. They don't even raise a single voice. They are so fear-ridden because there is a move to finish off the pension. If they amend the rule, civil service rule was amended 2021, that if you violate this kind of published books by so-called sensitive information, your pension can be stopped. You can be prosecuted. So no civil servant is opening this mouth. They are not even talking. We have only small bunch of people trying to write some letters. Otherwise, they have already completely finished off. The best and the brightest, as I told you. Only riffraffs, lumpens are ruling the roost. And you join the political party, you can say anything. Now we have the Assam Chief Minister telling a former civil servant, Harsh Mandel, I will file 100 cases against you. I will finish you off. They can say all that. But civil servants, with their experience, can't even suggest that these things could have been improved upon. This is my experience. Similarly, military officers. But this is a road towards fascism. Now, they are doing all this kind of comprehensive. Now, there's a ban on a retired officer accepting a commercial employment. That's a cooling off period. Military officer accepting a commercial employment, cooling off period. But a fellow who is in the IAS, IPS or Lieutenant General, next day he joins the BJP party, he gets an MLA seat or MP seat, he becomes a minister, that's okay.
No. Even the judges, Mr. Devasahayam, how can we forget the Calcutta judge who joined BJP and contested elections?
And they can yap anything they want. They can talk anything they want. What nonsense are you talking about? See, let us understand one thing. As it is, there's an acute shortage of merit in this country. Acute sort of experience, institutional experience, individual memory, institutional memory. So those who are recording, see the kind of experiences people have needs to be recorded. Unfortunately, I have not been able to record my experience. It is much more varied than many others, though it is not known. Because our publication system is also so rotten. The author is left like a beggar. Author gets nothing. Author is only does the flogging, but publication industry is in a very rotten state of affairs. I don't want to come into that. As it is, there is not much of an incentive for anyone to write, to share the experience, so that the posterity benefits. But this kind of 20 years, the thing is, you are completely banning. It's a fascist kind of way of doing things. The second is, who gives clearance and on what grounds? It's purely subjective. If you praise the government and say, Operation Sindoor, they'll publish it. If you criticize Operation Sindoor for practical reasons, from which lessons can be learned, they will not publish. What is this? Who is going to benefit? By praising? If you praise?
Which means, Mr. Devasahayam, so which means you see this 20-year cooling off period as nothing but running away from accountability, obfuscation. It's like a gag order.
It's not even a gag order, it's a kill order. Who will write the book after 20 years? Who can? Impossible. So this is not the way you run a government. This is not democracy. As it is, they are anti-right to information. They are killing right to information left, right, and center. All kind of new laws they are bringing in. Even the courts are also anti-information. Even our courts are also saying everything want to be secretive.
No, but you use the word kill order. Why do you think that it's a kill order?
20 years, who is going to write? You are killed. You retire, as you rightly said, you retire at 60, 62. Okay.
No, and many people in the old age develop so many health issues. Some people end up having Alzheimer's. Many people post 85 could have some or the other complicated health issue. So in that condition, is the government expecting the officers to write a book, to write a memoir?
That's why you use the word kill. You killed it. 20 years, number one, you will not be able to remember it. Even if you are keeping a diary, you would have lost the diary. Some people may lose memory power. And no publishing house will be interested. Why should publishing house be interested? 20 साल पुराना क्या नहीं बताना छोड़ो यार.
Lose the context. It will lose the context. Sindoor will not have any relevance after 20 years.
Who is interested? See, that's why I said when I wrote my book on emergency, it's a first hand. Lot of hot potato was there, but nobody was interested in reading. The readership was very poor. Because, see, my own experience, I'm telling you. Emergency happened in 1975. Let me tell you. It was over in 77. And I had the Devasahayam experience. Very interesting experience. And publishers did approach me in 77, 78, when I was still in service. I declined. Eventually wrote, and after completion of 30 years, hardly anyone was interested. My own experience is there. and publisher also, it was published because I knew the publisher, he published it, but he hardly sold anything. See, that's a question. That's why I use the word. It's not gag order, it's a kill order. This is not the way democracy functions.
No, but bureaucrats like you or the people who are part of the constitutional conduct group, there are armed forces people from the army, defense services. Will they oppose this cooling off period order when it comes?
We will oppose it, but the question is this rabid government. Now there are people sitting within the government itself who keep on instigating. I personally will oppose it, and anyone who needs decent senses will oppose it. But there are some people who do Jalra. There are Jalra parties who are doing Jalra books, will be published. Because you will have all kind of people praising. All kind of rotten things will be praised. Praising. And then you will be getting books. Cheating people.
So we will only find eulogies.
Eulogies and praise. And that can, who is going to buy? Publishing house also will be losing. Who is going to be interested in this? There will be no critical analysis.
Yeah.
So you
And
will be
also
completely killing.
Also,
Yeah.
you were saying that the critical analysis will be missing, and also nobody will ever be able to know what is the truth behind everything.
Nobody will be interested after 20 years is one generation. What is interested? Now, how many people are interested in emergency now? Nobody. In spite of all the tamasha that took place, 50 years of completion of 50 years and all, but nobody is interested. So 20 and these military operations also. Even Kargil is nobody is interested. And now my friend Kunal Verma, the military, you also know him, the military historian. He has been writing books. He has written 1965 book, 1971 book. I don't think many books have sold. Beautiful book. Some of these books, his narration is fantastic, but hardly any people buying it. That's the problem.
So, to my last question to you, Mr. Devasahayam, so how would you describe this cooling off period, which many in the cabinet yesterday endorsed it, and they said no, there should be a mandatory 20-year cooling off period. Do you think it's going to extend to the bureaucrats? It's going to extend to the other services also?
People in the cabinet who made these observations have no experience of no interest in what governance is. They are only interested in their own, and because nobody is praised, and they only want praise. The most essential principle is sunlight is the best form of, what do you call that? What's the word that you use?
Disinfectant. Disinfectant.
Disinfectant. And these fellows don't want disinfectant. They want to continue to be infected with their corruption and the rotten. They don't want sunlight. Even the shade of sunlight they don't want. These books are rays of sunlight. They want to finish off whatever sunlight is there. And when there is no sunlight, the country will be full of worms and snakes. That is what the country will be. Sorry for saying that.
It's very sad, but we'll have to see when the order comes, what are the details of the order. Thank you so much, Mr. Devasahayam, for joining on HW. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.